Okay, when you're doing the back door on the other side, it had no problem putting this bracket right here in. But on this side, you can see where this blue tape is right here. That blue tape is where I marked it. And I think you see how there's no paint on there? I trimmed it a little bit because of the clearance right there on that wire, right there. It's got the cable inside that sheath going across there to the latch down here. So on the other side it cleared it, but on this side it was hitting it, so I trimmed that just a hair. And then what they did on both sides is, you see this hole right here, better light, there it is. You got that hole right there. Well, that hole goes all the way through, and this nut right here that they have welded on is supposed to be in line with it, but they missed on both sides. So this bolt right here is as far in as it'll go. So you get a full nut. So on the other side, and I'll do the same thing on this side, is I'll just put some spacers in here to tighten it up instead of trying to ream that tube out of there. This side, the nut goes in fine, or the bolt goes in fine. This is as far aft as you can slide that, because there's a brace right back in there. And then it's really important, before you drill any holes, you see the pattern, make sure you measure everything before you cut it to make sure it's to scale. But you need to get back here and you need to line it up. Line your bracket and that hole up. The bracket and that hole up before you drill these, because you might have to cheat it a little bit one way or another. That door over there was a nightmare. They got the 3 pins, just like you can see on this driver's side. Goes in the door there, and there, and right up here. On both sides I had to do some cheating. You take the template and you put it where you're supposed to. There's a little, well, just like on this one, see how there's tabs sticking out, and you line everything up, the inside, the paper inside of that, these here line up with those. This one here is cheated aft just a hair. That's the only way it lines up with the bracket. Otherwise you're going to wind up having to oversize your hole and have a giant hole. On the front door, you have a little bit of play. There's a little bit of adjustment in each one of these brackets. Not a lot, but there's a little bit in all 3 of these. And luckily, before I drilled any of these holes, I put those templates on. And then I held the brackets up in place. They seemed a little off. I went and got the door. I held the door up in place. They were definitely off. So then I put the brackets in place in each one of these locations, and then played with them back and forth, did a bunch of measurements from point to point to point, measured at the base right here where the weld is, not down at the bottom, because you could always bend the ear a little one way or another if you had to get it started. But if this spread isn't right, there's no way that door is going to go all the way down. So you can see, even with the cheating, this one's favoring the forward side of the hole, and this one's favoring the aft side of the hole. This one here is favoring the forward side of the hole. So this door here, I fought a little bit. Once I got it, you had to move the little templates a little fore and aft to get it all figured out, measure it over and over and over, hold the door up there. I even went to the outside. I put pieces of tape on the outside here in line with them, and then I drew lines so everything was in line. And then I took the door and I held the top of the door and I held it on the inside here. Get focused. I held it up on the inside, but stood on the outside here to kind of line it up. I took tape and I put it on the door itself and drew lines with where the template said it should be. And I checked that stuff over and over and over before I drilled holes. And I got this door. This door fits decent for Polaris doors, which are made by Best Top. You see I got a little bit of daylight right there. You can see through it. And look over there to the passenger side. You see a lot through there. You can see daylight through there. And it's not very bright over there. You'd see even more. You see light through there. So that one doesn't fit near as nice as this one. But these little bars going down here in this framework, they go all the way across. There's a double bar all the way down. If those are off just a hair, this point or anything, if they're off just a hair, you're going to wind up with this gap not being even. You know what I mean? This round bar needs to be running at the same angle as this plastic and then come across. So it doesn't take much to have that angle off and you wind up with a gap. But from the outside, you see they look like they're fitting fairly tight, but right there, that you're looking inside. That's what that right there is. It's inside. So I'm going to look for some aftermarket rubber that I can add to the bottom of this. You can see this also, that it's actually out. All right, see that? See how it's actually out off of the door where it should come in a little farther? But that is following where the template said for it to be, in and out. And there's not a whole lot of adjustment for that particular bracket in and out. You can move a little bit fore and aft, but in and out there's not much adjustment. You'd have to put spacers and all that. That's just the nature of the beast. That's why so many people say that Polaris soft top doors fit lousy. But if you really take your time, you can make the best of it. They have this two-piece bracket. The inside one, yeah, the inside one has two of these push pins. You line it up where you want it, and then you mark it and you drill holes and you put two push pins in right back up in here, and then this outside piece goes on, and there's screws going through here that hold it on. And what I found is when you first put the doors on, close them and check everything. Like this was going inside that at first, but I'd just come around, and every time I opened it and closed it, I would pull that out. I would go up along this seam, right up along here, and I would make sure that it was in everywhere, because it will get a memory. And they're working better and better as I use them. See, this one here is a little bit on the outside, but that's pretty much its home now. You see, they don't go all the way in. They're not perfect. If you use that strap right there on the inside, you could Velcro it, pull it tight when you're driving down the road. But I got the gap there, fairly decent. My friend's four-seater that I'll be doing the side-by-side comparison on eventually. One of his doors, front doors, actually closes over the back door. They're not in there lined up quite right. So maybe that's something I'll be able to adjust for him when I have it here. But got the seam back here pretty decent. And Let me get this open. So in here, they have this metal piece right here, and that goes over this rubber seal right in there. That goes up on the back door, or the back little window. It has these little straps, 2 straps. It uses the screw locations to hold the strap. That's what holds it down nice and tight and gets it in line. Tilts it. So when you're first doing it, like I said with the memory, see here, I'd close this, and when I first did it, this rubber would come out this way. So I would take it and I would tuck it in there, and now it's got a little bit more of a memory. I can open it and close it, and most of the time it works good. But you'll want to keep an eye on it, because if that ever comes out this way, if you let it sit like that for too long, that's going to be the way it is forever. Okay. And these are the Velcro strap I was talking about. You take that, you put Velcro on it, and it attaches. You'd put it right up around here. I haven't done that yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to. You can take these off if you don't want to use them. I haven't decided. So far, the driving I've done has not needed it. So the reason that this door is not on yet is because this one here that they sent, this is the first one they sent. The distance from here to here was wrong from the factory. So you could take that bracket, which is a 1-piece bracket on that back door, and you can slide it down. And here you can see all the paint scraped off. It'd only go down part way. So if I had drilled that hole in the door and tried to push this down, this window would not go all the way down. You wouldn't be able to close the door, because the top part of it down here, it's upside down right now, of course. Top part of this would have been outside the cage. So we did a claim with Polaris, and they actually sent me a new one. And believe it or not, this one is off just a hair also, but that one will be able to make work. It does push down, but it is off just a hair. This one was off so much that you would have to grind half of this away, or you'd have to cut that bracket and change it, or you'd have to cut these welds, move that over a hair, and weld them back on, which I didn't want to do. So we got a hold of Polaris. I was surprised that they sent the whole window, the material and everything. I figured they would just sent the frame, so that was nice. Now I don't have to mess with it. Okay, I think that about sums it up. So I'm going to line that up, drill those holes. Oh, I guess I could show you what I did there. So to drill those holes, I take an awl. So you got this nice sharp point, and right on that little X in the circle, you just push down and you make a hole. And then you can take these drill bits. So I got a little tiny 16th inch one. I very carefully drill the hole through. Then I go to that 1/8 inch one, and then I use this step bit and went all the way through. Now you don't want to have that bracket in there when you're doing it, because you'll run into it. But I'll come over here and I'll use that awl right on that X and that X. Drill those holes, find some spacers for this bolt. I'll probably put just a touch of Loctite on there. Tighten that up, drop that in, hope for the best.